All right, we are back. We took a couple weeks off, and the Oscars are this weekend. And David, you're the expert on entertainment finance. So, of course, I wanted to talk about profit and loss statements today. And I want your opinion on a couple of things. But before I do that, I thought I'd give a quick overview of just what a P&L statement is. And really, it's like an income statement. And what we're looking at is a company's revenues, costs, and expenses. And what these statements tell us is how well does a company actually generate profit, and are they increasing revenues or costs. And I think this is really interesting. But what is kind of cool is we look at these as like these at the consolidated level on company, like an annual report. And we can look at like a company like Disney, where they have a consolidated statement that shows that last fiscal year they had $67 billion in revenue. But they actually break it down, and they break it down by media and parks, where media is 51 billion and parks is generating 16 billion of revenue. So, this profit and loss statement is actually really, intricate, and there's a lot of cool things that you can learn about a company, and especially those companies that break it down further. But what I want to ask you about is, I was reading this article this past week about Disney, and they were talking about the profit and loss statements of actual divisions. And I was like, whoa, divisions. And of course, understanding how a division works is really important, because you want to see how do those specific segments perform. So media and parks are still huge divisions of Disney, and they want to see, within those divisions, what's actually happening. And so Disney made this big change. I'm hoping that you can explain that to us, and that'll also help us all understand even more about profit and loss statements.
Oh, I'd love to. And because it's the right thing to do, we're going to do it in the context of High School Musical, because the important thing about High School Musical is that it premiered on the Disney Channel. And so this is back in the day when Disney's strategic decision was to allow each division to have its own P&L. So the managers of the Disney Channel had a P&L, and they got paid bonuses based on the performance of the Disney Channel. And theirs was separate from the managers of ESPN and the managers of the Marvel team and the Lucasfilm team. They all had separate P&Ls. And so back in the day, High School Musical, even though probably the best thing to do with it would be to put it in the movie theaters, where families were going to pay $9 per seat and bring all the kids and the grandparents and the aunts, they didn't do that. They decided to put it on the Disney Channel because the Disney Channel team greenlit the movie. They made the movie and they wanted it on their platform instead. Now Disney's got some tough choices, because they could put, whether we're talking about High School Musical or Turning Red or any of their movies, they could put it on the Disney Channel, but they could also put it on Disney Plus, and they could also put it into a movie theater. And they've got to make a strategic choice with everything that they make about which of these is going to create the most shareholder value for Disney. And that's the tough choice. And so the problem is that if they stayed with the old system, where each division had its own P&L, each manager was effectively fighting for themselves. They were fighting for the best P&L for their division, even if it didn't benefit Disney as a whole. Obviously, the best thing to do with High School Musical, put it in the theater. That's not what they did. They put it on the Disney Channel. What Bob Chapek, the CEO of Disney, has decided to do is change it. So now, instead of all those different pieces having their own P&L, they're all together, all in one. So now all the managers have to work together and let Disney Central decide where the best place for their show is, whether that's going to be in the theater, on Disney Plus, on Disney Channel, on DVD, wherever it may be, or in the trash can, also a possibility. And so this is the fascinating place where strategy and finance come together in P&Ls. Bob Chapek is basically going from a very capitalist mode, where all the managers are incentivized to do the best for themselves, to a very socialist mode, where all the managers are incentivized to do the best for Disney.
That's awesome. Well, as a parent of a 6-year-old daughter, I think I can solve all of Disney's problems. And they should just write a blank check to Lin-Manuel Miranda, and we can just keep talking about Bruno for forever and ever.
We don't talk about Bruno.